Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bout Nothin Podcast. I'm joined today by Cade. This is the guy. This is the guy. Yeah, here he is.
Yep, that's
I said last episode that I was going to have him on, and we're going to talk about whiskey today, and also just Bout Nothin. But last episode was the Whiskey Podcast, the Whiskeycast, I think I called it. This episode's literally going to be the same thing, but with Cade.
Except better because I'm here.
Except better because he's here.
Makers.
In the background, he's drinking Maker's 46. I'm drinking Johnny Walker Black Label. Sponsor? No, not a sponsor. In the background, we have our editor, Ian. I don't know if you can hear you for that one.
I don't think that picked up.
But yeah, he's
a crisp.
yeah. Hey. But yeah, we're gonna have him in the background because I think he's doing actual important work and adult stuff. 3 seconds. 3 seconds until I could swear. Adult shit. Apparently, you're supposed to wait like a minute and not have bad language for sponsorships. They try to avoid depending the first minute of the video is supposed to be. So we always try and see. And usually Dylan is the one who at 30 seconds says the F word or something. Yeah, exactly. Usually,
shit.
But that time it was 57 seconds and I almost said adult shit. So, yeah. So. Cade, a little backstory. I've known you for a very long time. When was it?
2017.
Because
when did you leave for Nepal, or when did you leave for Oregon? Actually,
it was January of 2018. So yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been 2017 because I think we only knew each other and worked with each other for about a year at Cane's.
It was 1 year at Cane's. It was both of our first job?
No, actually, it was my second job.
Right.
I got fired from my first.
No, wait, okay.
Not many people know about that, but
Whiskeycast, putting it on pause. Why'd you get fired from your first job?
All right, the longest story short, because I'm long-winded with my stories.
That's fine. This is a podcast. That's the whole point.
Basically, I was 16, right? And as a kid, I kind of got bullied a lot, and I just kind of let people roll over me. Well, this one manager who was really short, probably 5'3",
short
dude.
bastard. Okay,
yeah, dude,
yeah.
he had Napoleon syndrome for sure.
Okay.
This guy said, "Hey, you need to start standing up for yourself." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll start standing up for myself." So he's messing with me, jabbing with me, oh. So I flip his cap up, as you do, and he just went ballistic on me. Threatened me and all this other stuff, and I actually feared for my life as a 16-year-old.
You were it's so over, dude.
So as I reported him, I did the whole HR thing, right? And he got written up and fired, but because I initiated the horseplay, they had to let me go. Mind you, I was already planning on moving to Cane's because my car got broken into 3 weeks before, so I put in my 2-week notice. So 2 days before I leave to go to Cane's, because I already got the job at Cane's, they were like, "Hey, we got to let you go for legal purposes. We're firing you." And I'm like, damn.
I'm just check the box. Don't call my previous boss. I think every job I've gotten, I've checked that. Don't call on the resume or not on the application. No, I don't want you to contact my previous employer, because every time my previous employers have been not, was that your phone?
It was my phone. I
saw you turn around whose phone's not on vibrate?
I was silent.
Look at these chuckle nuts over here. Freaking rookie. Rookie.
Hey man, this is only my second podcast. All right, give me a break. Third?
Yeah.
No, this is.
You've been on 2 Aftermath episodes.
Was I?
Man's forgot.
Okay,
bro.
untechnically I was a part of episode 0, right? Untechnically, but I was in the background chuckling at you guys making fun of Buzz Lightyear.
Dude, this is old stuff. Yeah,
I know,
right? That's awesome. I think now that you mentioned it, though, I do remember you mentioning your previous job at Cane's once. So I didn't know the full story. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
but I did remember you mentioning.
They liked me.
They
except
did?
for that one guy.
Except for that one guy. Stupid Napoleon syndrome. We'll call him Napoleon for the rest of the podcast. Yeah. After that, we weren't even that close at Cane's, really. I mean, we were friends.
I remember us talking on multiple occasions, and you constantly inviting me to come here to your brother's house. And you were like, "Hey, we're having a
board game night,
yeah, board game." Or which y'all did a lot was the
VR nights. Yeah,
VR nights.
Before we left, we did VR a lot.
Yeah. So I just never could make it, and then I don't know. I think it was when Cody and me went to a Cane's.
Yeah, it was
freaking event that I was like, "Oh, who we haven't talked in a while? Ethan." So then we just all started hanging out together, me, you, and Cody.
I do remember that night very well, actually, because I was pretty freshly back And I also, that was the 2 weeks that I worked at the mall. Yeah. So
you worked at
Express, the clothing store.
Yeah. Because you helped me find my suit.
Yes, I did. I helped fit you for a suit. I worked at Express clothing store for 2 weeks. And that was whenever I finished EMT school. And I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to be real with you. I didn't like this job. I was like, I didn't like this job. And I literally was just doing this to help pay for EMT school, and I'm finished. And the job at an ambulance service is paying me a lot more. And all the supervisors were like, that's great, man. Good for you. So
and you just left.
After like 2 weeks, yeah, I got like one paycheck there. That was it. And I'm still rehireable. But yeah, so we started hanging out a bit. And after, funnily enough, we weren't working together anymore. That's when we got closer. And long story short, we became roommates. One thing I want to mention though was that your how we say your tenuous relationship with whiskey at first, because you were like, yeah, like I want to get into whiskey. We drank some stuff. It was me and Nathan, who I still haven't had on this podcast.
Oh yeah,
I remember the one that you liked was Buffalo Trace. You loved it, so you went and bought a bottle. I'll let you take it away from there.
God.
You don't need to have all the nitty gritty details. If you don't want to.
Yeah. The longest story short is I'm with a group of buddies of mine. I just get back from Iraq, and
I forgot. That's also probably worth mentioning. You were like deployment was.
Oh yeah, I was prior Army.
Yeah.
I got back from Iraq and Kuwait, and we're all sitting around this campfire, and they're like, "Oh, you want a beer?" And I'm like
beer's for pussies.
Yeah. I was more like, "Ew, beer tastes like piss
and bread."
Yeah, and so I was like, actually, it was either him or me. Somebody had Buffalo Trace, and so like I think I had a bottle in my truck, and I was like, I'll just sip on this, and sipping turned to drinking it straight from the bottle, and then when I got low enough, spitting it into the fire to make flames. Well, I was way too far gone by the end of the night that I had to get my best friend at the time, who's ironically also named Cade, to drive me back home, in which we pulled over twice. And
so you could throw up
on the side of the road, and I don't remember this night.
Yeah.
I remember the last thing that I remember was spitting into the fire and jumping over the campfire, which, by the way, that's not me. You know me enough to know that's not me.
I should probably have an announcement. I don't condone these actions in any way. But since then,
I'm a trained professional. Don't try this at home.
I don't think you're trained at all.
Hey, once of experience is enough to be trained, right?
It's enough to say that you've done it before, at least, and be like, I have experience in this field.
Yeah, don't do it. Just like shoulder launching up fireworks.
Dude, whenever your girlfriend was like, what's this? And I was like, oh, that's where Cade holds that, and he lights explosives and puts them in the tube. And she was like,
can I at least...
oh, and then just handed it to me.
Can I at least explain what that is? So
I think everyone knows what that is. It's like,
that is not common.
It's not?
No, so you have like the tubes.
We're from the South, bro.
You have those tubes that you launch the fireworks out of, right? The fireworks stands, like the mortar shells, the big ones that boom. Mm-hmm. Well... I wanted to shoulder launch one, so one year I packed a PVC pipe full of dirt and shoulder launch. Yeah, but then I concocted one and it was small. Like I made a compact one, and if the bottom busted out, dude, I had a hand cannon, dude. I really probably could have like shot it off like a Roman candle.
I'm sure somewhere this is a war crime.
Oh, I remember 4th of July though. That thing shot off my shoulder and right?
That was terrifying. Ian, I recall this was one of the years that I wasn't here, I think, and Ian was like, yeah, you probably should have been here.
Please interject.
Or was I there for that one?
I don't know.
No, I think that was the one where you fell asleep on the floor. Yeah, keep going.
You're right. That was drunk. Dude, you were drunk as fuck enough where it would be like you had that shit on your shoulder. And I stopped you. I was like,
Ian was like, dude, don't.
I was like, nah, you can't. I'm cutting you off. You were having a fun time, and there was a point where there was that moment of if I don't stop it now, This is where we're all gonna remember that time where Cade really hurt him. Yeah, so I cut you off. But
needless to say, I made it out safe. But I did launch the firework off my shoulder. Except the firework launcher also launched off my shoulder.
Great cost to my shoulder.
Yeah, great cost to my shoulder. And I was like, all right, well, I'm done with this shit. And walked back inside.
And it's worth mentioning. This 4th of July happens to be shortly, around the time when, because of that Buffalo Trace incident, you couldn't really handle liquor at all.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So you had 2 beers and you were blasted. Your body had not yet gotten to the point. So I didn't realize that you were that far gone because I remember this night we were drinking similar stuff and you were like, are you not feeling it at all right now? And I was like, no, I just had a couple drinks. And you were like,
wait, 4th of July?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were like, that shit's crazy, bro. I'm feeling drunk.
It was amaretto because there was a point in time. I remember what happened. There was a point in time where I had the bottle and I was like, Ethan, I can't drink anymore of this, man. I'm cutting myself off. Here, take the bottle. And you were like, okay. You grabbed the bottle.
And I just put it in the kitchen.
Yeah, you grabbed it. You put it like 5 feet away and you walked away. And I was like, shit. I got more.
You were like, man, he should know better than that. And I poured up. Dumb idiot.
back to what I was saying with the Buffalo Trace story, though, because I don't know if you knew the full story. Once I got back home, woke up the next morning throwing up so bad for like 30 minutes to an hour that I had to, I got brought to the hospital, in which you promptly...
I told you shouldn't have. I thought...
you said that was a bad idea.
I was just...
I could have just drank water instead, or I could have just...
Because you had already woken up by this point. I was like, I'm going to be honest, man, you didn't need to be like all that dramatic. But it wasn't, I roasted you for it, but like, if you feel that bad, you just go.
Yeah.
If you feel that bad, go. But at the same time, I was like, God, I'm not gonna let you live this down though. Like as a medic, I'm not gonna let you live that down. But yeah, so following that, I think that was my chair. I think I moved the chair around.
Yeah, I heard
and it was
squeaks, and I was like,
I don't know if it was Ian's chair. It's mine. Yeah, I forget that I have to sit still because it picks it up.
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm just constantly like swiveling in this chair. I cannot sit still.
So, but that was to say, at one point, the story of how you got into whiskey, the next step was you came over and you were like, I think I can try something again. So we got you to try Whistle Pig 12 year, which was like $120 for that bottle. And you took one sip of it and promptly threw it up. And I was like, you owe me for that whiskey, by the way. Which is also...
In which I never paid you for.
No, you don't. It's fine. But you love that one now, which is the funny thing.
Dude, it's like one of the top by far.
It's a really good rye. Like, honestly, really good rye. I love Whistle Pig.
Which I wish we would have compared that in our blind test. I know that, next time we're going to have to do that. But
I feel like we could pick that one out, though. I think we can pick that one out because it's kind of unique.
Well, you can pick most ryes out, though, right? Because most ryes have, somewhat of a... they're not like bourbons where you can just constantly taste, oh, it's cherry,
it tastes like a bourbon
or brown sugar. It has to be one of those.
Right. I think, in a way, but I think the only rye that I've ever really confidently picked out because of how unique it is Angel's Envy finished rye. It's the only one.
Dude, because it's like syrup.
It's like the only one that I've confidently, I take a sip of it and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know that one. Just like in the Isla testing, whenever I took a sip of one and I was like, this has to be Ardbeg 10. It can't be. And then we got to the very end and I was like, Ardbeg 10 is one of these two, but I'm pretty sure it's that one. And I was right. I'm very happy to say Ardbeg gang. But when we moved in together, which shortly, I guess, actually not really shortly, a while later happened, we moved in together. We need to clarify something here because you keep saying that I tried to get you into whiskey to people. Ethan got me into whiskey. I would like to say you got yourself into whiskey.
Yeah, but you helped. You were the catalyst.
I did help, but
You're the reason why I've spent thousands of dollars into whiskey. How does it feel to know that you put me in debt?
Great, actually. You could just say that.
I'm not going to say that on podcast.
You could just say that out loud.
From my mouths.
He mouthed "heck you" to me. Exactly verbatim what he said.
Heck you.
Heck you. But yeah.
Staunch.
Whenever with the hard E. Whenever we moved in together, he was trying. Every once in a while he would come in and just look at the collection of whiskey and be like, I want you to find me something that you think I'll like. He did that so many times that you started finding shit that you liked.
Yeah, what was the first one that I landed on?
Elijah Craig, I think. Elijah Craig was one of the first ones that you liked that wasn't... Oh, no, sorry. No, it was Woodford Reserve.
Yeah, Woodford Reserve.
It was Woodford Double Oak specifically, though. Because I remember...
Are you sure it wasn't just normal Woodford?
I think you might have tried Woodford. I let you try a couple things. I think I let you try Tullamore Dew. I think I let you try Angel's Envy Finished Rye again. And I let you try Woodford. I gave you a couple of things to try. And I remember you liking Woodford, but I remember later on you tried Woodford Double Oak next to it, and that was the one that you stuck on. You bought your own bottle of that one, and that was the first thing that you slowly started getting back into whiskey. And I made a point of actually never telling you that I was pouring Buffalo Trace, but getting you to try it again, because I was like, it's still good. It's all mental. The only reason why you think that you can't drink it is because you remember drinking it. So whenever you did a blind taste test, you were like, it's actually, you still ranked number 2. And it was one of your favorites.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't know if anybody else has done this before, but after, having whiskey makes me just completely nauseous, that was a very, very slow months of trying to get myself back into it, because I remember we would pour like 5 glasses maybe and like split them between the two of us, and like after that I was like, I gotta cut myself off because I was getting nauseous just drinking it.
I think it was actually 3. We would start and I would pour you like 3 glasses to compare to 3 different things, and I would end up drinking more of them probably than you were.
Yeah.
And you would try them, but you would probably only finish like 1 glass of whiskey before you were like, I'm starting to feel it. And it was slowly.
But it wasn't even like a drunk feeling either. It was the
nauseous.
It was just nauseous.
Yeah. And it kind of slowly built up the tolerance to it and all that.
Yeah, now we drink 17 drinks and be perfectly fine.
It's bad.
And we're not even drunk at that point either.
Like, we should do a blind tasting and pours 5 different glasses and we split them between us. And then we have, while we're discussing which ones we liked, we have a 6th glass each that we are drinking. And you're like, are you feeling it? Because I'm not feeling it. No, I'm not feeling it.
All right, let's do another blind test.
We have too much of a tolerance. It's like a lot of whiskey. It's expensive. But
whiskey's made to be drank.
Whiskey's made to be drank, bro. I drink a lot of expensive whiskey. I like it. But I think now, kind of caught up to the present time, there's a whiskey room now, and we have a lot of stuff in there. We both have collections now. We've basically counted. We have like 110 bottles between the two of us,
somewhere around there. Yeah, and it like continuously grows because I know I just bought.
Some acres.
4 more in the past 2 weeks.
I think at this point you might have a couple more actually than I do, because you have so many bourbons and just cheaper bottles and stuff like that. And all the times I want something, it's like, that's $120. I'm gonna like put some money aside for it.
Well, it's also because your collection's a little bit older. You're having to constantly replace your collection just to make it full. Yeah,
because we've it's not even that I have to per se. It's that when we finish something like a Glenlivet bottle, like that's my favorite ones. I have a complete like Glenlivet age statement collection, so like I'm going to replace that one. The only one that I won't replace if it got low enough, because it's hard to find and expensive, is the 25. I'll just keep the bottle for that one. But even the 21, like if I drank it and it got low enough, I would start setting money aside to replace that one.
So you're telling me right now that the sample room 25 Glenlivet came out, or you found it somewhere that you wouldn't hop on that?
That's different, because it is something I would probably hop on if I could find it, but I haven't been able to find it in America. So if I did find it, I would be like, can you put it aside for me? And if not, then I would consider putting it on a credit card. Just being like, I need to buy that to have that, because that's something that I have not been able to find.
On top of that, because now I'm interested, if you did get the sample room Glenlivet 25, would you open it now or wait till the 25 archive or architect is complete? Is it architect or archive?
So I don't think they have different names. That's just the way I refer to them. I'm not 100% sure what the names, but
the
I know
21 is definitely the architect.
Archive 21. No, Archive 21.
Is it Archive?
Yeah. And I think the 25, it says it's from their Heritage collection, but I don't know if it's actually called the Heritage 25. But the bottle that I have is the older Glenlivet 25 with the black wax on top.
The OG.
Yeah. They have a new one from their sample room collection, and that's the one that I call the sample room 25, and it's the blue bottle.
Is the 50 from kind of like the quote unquote heritage era?
I think the Glenlivet like 50 years and all that are their own thing. Like they're just individual bottling. It's really expensive and has its own like name. He's looking it up right now. I have a laptop right here. Like, isn't that my job because I have a laptop?
I mean, I guess it kind of is your job, but you're not doing it, so I'm gonna do it for you.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Way to roast me there. He's already looking it up, so I'm not going to. But I do have a laptop here.
Yo, no, definitely, it's its own thing. Like it looks like its own thing for sure. It could be in either one. To be honest, in fact,
$20,000, bro.
Like, if you look at this, and man, it sucks that we can't like show people while they're watching. Because
just look it up. Glenlivet 50.
Does it not look like a mix between the like Glenfiddich and Macallan? Like the Glenfiddich and Macallan bottles were like the exact same.
That one actually, that's not what I thought it looked like, but it does look. It reminds me more of the Glenfiddich bottles to me.
Yeah,
because I have Glenfiddich 14, and it reminds me of that one. But it's called the Winchester Collection. This is the 1967 vintage Glenlivet 50.
God, 1967.
Yeah, so this is what we're looking at now, and they have a different collection too. I think like another one, not Winchester, but yeah, it's its own thing though. And what is this? Bowmore Arc 52-year, $100,000. Excuse me? What is
it called?
How have I never heard of this? Bowmore Arc, ARC.
Bowmore.
Interesting. Also, while looking up Glenlivet in the history, it said something about Outlaw Star, Ian. So I guess you guys did your Aftermath Outlaw Star episode.
It's coming out this Friday.
I think I got the email about it. I still get those, by the way. It was like super late at night, and I got an email. I was like, oh, I guess they did the podcast.
I have seen this actually. Funny enough, I've seen a picture of this. Yeah, because I was curious. After starting to collect whiskey, you kind of
exactly. Yeah.
You start knowing like
names
apart from other collectors who might just collect it for. Just for an average drink, we buy more expensive bottles. I mean, heck, you've bought. We've both bought over $500 bottles before.
Yeah, I guess we can mention it now because I don't know if we mentioned it on the last Whiskeycast episode. One of my most expensive bottles is my Bruichladdich Black Art. And I don't exactly remember which year it is or which state because they're all different. Just like the Octomore, like 11.1 that I have.
Yeah.
The the Bruichladdich Black Art has its own like number and like 7 point something or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly which one I have. It's one of the most expensive bottles that I have, next to my Glenlivet 25, which was like $650. And you have another $600 bottle, and that is
the Boss Hog 10 Commandments.
Whistle Pig Boss Hog 10, which we've actually tried that one.
That was pretty fire. I'm not gonna. I mean, it's funny. Okay, this kind of sounds a little sad for me to say this, to be honest.
I think we're gonna agree here.
For the price. It was a little underwhelming, but I think that's most very expensive whiskeys. Like the more high end whiskeys I try, however, I've only tried like a certain amount of high end whiskeys. There's nothing as special about it that you would think, like as opposed to something that's like a $200-$300 whiskey, and even then that's like really high price.
I think
you know what I mean?
That's the catch. Is that like a $200-$300 whiskey is still considered high for me. I think the most interesting thing that we saw was the Alexander Murray, that 10-year that was like $50, and it was a sherry cask finish.
Yeah, it's a sherry cask.
That one is really good, and we put it on par with my Glenlivet like 21 and your
Cigar malt,
the Delmore cigar malt, which is like $200 bottle.
Yeah.
So it's like
on top of that, the Grainstone rum, the rum cask
that was really good too.
Also on that
Grainstone
top. I think that was above.
Really
we put
good.
both of those, I think, above.
We tied them really high.
Yeah, they were really like in the high 90 scores for us.
Yeah, we like to do a lot of blind tasting. So one of us will pour a bunch of glasses of whiskey for us to compare, and then the other person will blind taste them and figure out which one they like the most. Try and guess what they are. That said, we'll do that, but we've started doing it now where we write on a card which one it is, and then the other person shuffles it around. So now neither of us know what we're drinking, which is really fun because now we're both doing a blind test and neither of us know what we're drinking.
On top of that, with those cards, it's like actual playing cards. My goal is to get like a whole 52 card deck of the things I've blind tasted.
Yeah. Oh man,
which is kind of sick.
My ace of Alexander Murray.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I think Ardbeg 10 is the Joker.
Is the Joker? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Ardbeg 10 Joker.
I made sure to write the Joker on that one just for you.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So
don't be giving me the side eye.
Don't be. Look, Ardbeg 10 is legendary, and I've gotten to the point where I have converted Cade to the cult of Ardbeg. I think I've done it.
Okay, I haven't converted.
Okay, fine. He sits around for my sermons sometimes.
Join the team.
Join the team. Ian, I think, is a recruit just
You're
because...
not an Ardbeg guy, are you?
He's a Ardbegian, I think is what we prefer.
What's that?
I said he's an Ardbegian, I think we prefer.
Yeah, Ardbeg. No, I don't own Ardbeg right now, but every time I've had it, I've always been like, man, this is so unique and interesting. But I'm also kind of I'm a fan of Scotch and peat and that kind of stuff. So
I think that's sort of how I got into it. I mentioned on our last whiskey cast that I got into it because I wasn't even sure if I liked the flavor yet, but I liked how unique it was, and so that's kind of why I got into it. And Dylan is one of the few people that I knew who unironically just liked it the first time I drank it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Ardbeg guy. Which, speaking of which, one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast now is because we're about to go to Scotland and do an Islay Scotch tour. Scotland forever!
Scotland forever!
So we're going to do that, and we're going to visit, I'm pretty sure, every Islay Scotch distillery and a couple more.
Now, there's so I know we've kind of talked about this a little bit. You don't want to know the itinerary per se. You kind of want to know like the theme of what we're doing. But
I do know that we're going to the Oban distillery as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Islay distilleries I've never even heard of. Yes, dude. There's like at least 4 of them that I was reading, and I was like,
yeah.
I don't know what the fuck this is. Just kept on scrolling.
There's a few names that are a little bit different that I don't even know how to pronounce a couple of them fully. I because I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce them right, but the big names are there too. Berglotti, Lafroig, Ardbeg, those are all there. We're gonna go to Oban first, I think, as well, which is really cool because I've actually wanted to go to the Oban Distillery as well. Excuse you, Ian, edit that out in post. Timestamp it. But yeah, so there's like a lot of them we're going to. I think it's gonna be really good. You don't actually have to edit that out in post. That was a joke.
Next time I'm gonna cough in.
Yeah, next time he's gonna. I would like to sneeze directly into the mic. Yeah. But the problem is,
oh man, it's wet.
Yeah. There's like
wiping it off.
All you hear is. The problem is,
stop.
I'd also have to. I just mute you over here.
It's like, all right, he's muted for a second.
I'd have to disinfect it too because that's normally my chair. You.
Here, let me just make sure. Just like lick it real quick.
Back to the ASMR cast.
Yep.
Huh?
Oh, my bad.
Oh man! Before the show, Cade put the headphones on and started making noises into the mic, and I was like, "This is not an ASMR." There he is.
Oh, sorry, I was drinking my whiskey.
Sorry,
apologies, host makers.
I was drinking my whiskey, and I was like, "This isn't an ASMR podcast." Also, Dylan came in. If you'd like to mention what he came in with. Right before the podcast.
I forget. So Dylan, I don't know how much Dylan has talked about this on Aftermath, but he has like a stupid crap ton of mechs in his room.
I think it's been mentioned on at least Aftermath, but he has a collection of like collectibles, like statuettes. And what are they called? Just like different like Gundams.
Figurines.
No, there's a name for them though. Models, that's it. Yeah, like Gundam models.
Yeah.
Models. It's like different grades and all that. And one of the like limited edition things that he found was this.
Yeah. So he gave me not gave technically because I'm buying it from him.
Yeah.
He's got a Super Saiyan Broly full power.
It's gigantic. It's such a big statue.
That's at least like 1.5 feet tall, right?
It's a huge statue.
It's huge.
Full power, bro.
Full power.
Yeah, and so you just brought that in like while we were getting ready for the start, to start the podcast. He just brought it in, like just set it next to Cade.
Yeah, but he still has it in the box, and like knowing Dylan, he definitely bought this at least a year. No, at least 2 years ago.
I think it's been a couple years. Yeah, because I think I remember when he got it. Yeah,
and the fact that this man still has the box with it.
Yeah, he keeps the boxes because they're all like collectible things. Like
but he's got all the figurines out. Okay, but this is just me. This is me, right? If I have a Pop Funko.
Okay, well,
stays in the box.
You're the type of guy that has Funko Pops, though. So,
well, I guess I am that Funko Pop guy.
Because like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a Funko Pop guy. Funko Pop guy. I prefer Dylan's collection. Funko Pops are cringe. I said it.
I'm sorry.
You're like, you live with me though, so you're stuck.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck with it. Every single time you go in the whiskey room, you have to, look at Aaron Yeager in the eyes and tell him you hate him.
I will do that from now on. From now on, I will walk in there and be like, I hate you, by the way.
No, I'd do that too because it's Aaron Yeager.
I actually no spoilers. I actually haven't seen. What's that? Attack on Titan, right?
Yeah,
I haven't.
Yeah.
I said Titan wrong, I know.
Yeah, you said Titan.
Attack on Tegan. But no, I actually haven't seen that yet. Me and Dylan just finished watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Which, spoiler warning, we might talk about that on a different Bout Nothin episode because it was really good. I'm not like an anime guy, and so he tries to find things that I'll like, and I really like that show.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that one a lot. And you've been wanting me to finish Demon Slayer.
Did we start that?
We didn't start that. But I've seen the first season, and you were like, "Oh, well, there's like the rest of it's out. Like you need to watch like all."
So basically, right now you need to watch Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Not even. You got to start it again.
Really? The thing is, I watched the first season like twice because also whenever I was with Nathan, he got into it and he watched it as well. But yeah, I like all of it. You were like, yeah, you got to finish that, but we haven't done that yet. Then no. So. But back on the topic of whiskey, drinking Maker's 46 right now. That's what you've been. So if you've decided now that Maker's 46 is,
I think that I'm just out of original right now. So Maker's 46 is like the next best.
I'll be honest. I personally like Maker's 46 more than the original, and I like the original a lot.
I'm starting to see. different flavors, different tasting notes that I didn't see before. There was another drink that I had the other night that I'm sure the Derringer.
The H Derringer?
No, not H Derringer.
Okay,
I picked out new flavors from that. It's actually good.
Like, you'd actually touched that? The guy who made the rabbit hole. Yes. Okay. Well.
Hold on. Let me finish this thought, and then we'll talk about H Derringer after. So no, I picked up the rabbit hole Derringer, right?
Yeah.
And I pouring it for myself, and I tasted it. The first thing that came to my mind was, holy shit, this tastes just like pirate rum.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, but you have the
1638 cask or something.
He has the limited pirate rum, because there is just pirate rum, and he has the one that's no longer on the market anymore. Like, you got it before it was, because it's no longer in production.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't on the market when I got it. Just the place that I got it from had it and didn't know
that they
had.
could be charging $1,000 for it.
Oh yeah, dude, they could have at least charged it probably $1,000 or $2,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding it for online
sure.
now. Yeah. Fun fact, I looked up H Derringer, and the first autofill result was H Derringer bourbon with gun.
What?
And this is a picture of it. So if you people are curious what we're talking about and what not to buy, H Derringer bourbon with gun, Google it. It's yeah.
There's an amazing little story behind this awesome Busch Light of whiskey bourbon.
Oh yeah, the Busch Light of bourbon, as it's been reviewed. So
do you want to tell the story, or should I? Because I've already shared like 2 stories tonight.
Yeah, I can share this one. So
I'll interject
this was,
when you're wrong.
Yeah, when you're inevitably wrong, you got to say it like that. Damn.
Not really. I'm sorry. You're probably gonna tell it better than I could.
So we were at, I forgot, one of the like local stores that has like a good, especially in Louisiana, like everywhere has alcohol, right? Like every store has alcohol, has whiskey. So we were just in one of the local stores that has we heard had a solid selection, and he saw up top, opened up like top shelf, really fancy H Derringer bourbon, and he was like, it comes with a flintlock cork. He's like, this thing looks sick. And I was like, yeah, it's a bit pricey though, and I've literally never heard of it, so that's probably not a great sign. That's a chilling vision of things to come. And he was like, yeah, but it's sick. And I remember you being like, even if it's not good though, like, it's a sick bottle, right? Like, I'll keep the gun cork. A chilling vision of things to come. You're like, I'll keep the cork. And I was like, yeah, if nothing else, you'll pay $100 for a cork. And so you bought it. We got home and tried it, and it is, I am confident in saying it is the only whiskey that I will tell you is bad. It's shit. I like all whiskey. I would give just about any whiskey a 5 or even 4.5 out of 10. H Derringer is dog shit. It tastes like pennies, and I hate it.
It's the bourbon of Marines. Truthfully,
we joked around that the Marines would love it though because it tastes like crayons. At least, or yesterday you joked about that one. It's just so bad. And then while we're sitting there, even to this day, you're still like, can we just pour it out? I just want to keep the bottle. I just want it to be a decanter. Just pour it out. And I'm like, no, we have to finish this thing all natural.
I don't know if you've noticed this too. The ribbons around the top have started to like fray and just come off. And I'm like, dude, they basically looks like they hot glued these ribbons.
It's not, you're like,
even the bottle.
The bottle looks nice, but the quality, we'll get there. So I was like, yeah, but.
Oh, foreshadowing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're pouring. I'm like, yeah, but dude, and I remember like satire, right? I was making a joke, like, dude, but look at this sick flintlock cork, and we had a bottle that I wanted to put it like it was like already uncorked. It was
Woodford.
It was Woodford Reserve, but I don't remember why the cork was off or why I picked it. I think it was just low. We were going to try and use it as a decanter, but I was like, dude, come on. So I put,
no. We just picked a random ass bottle.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure because I was like, why would we pick Woodford?
Because I was like, I love Woodford. This would go awesome on my Woodford.
Okay, yeah. So I take the cork off and I was like, bet. So I put the flintlock cork in the Woodford and I was like, sick. And I hear, again, chilling vision of things to come. I said, and it's really secure. It's kind of like, it really got in there. It's going to be kind of hard to uncork it. And I went to uncork it and the cork just broke off. So we paid $139 for this bottle. And instantly it tasted like dog shit. And even the flintlock cork we wanted it for broke.
I was more mad that the Woodford bottle got ruined because now there's bits of cork in there.
I remember you being like, dude, I'm so mad that my $130 bottle of H. Derringer ruined my $40 bottle of Woodford Reserve.
I was like, at least I get like a Flintlock cork out of this.
And so then we went to, I have pictures on my phone that I feel like I have to show Ian because he keeps turning around. I have pictures on my phone.
Did you ever get the nub of that cork out of that bottle?
Yeah, we were actually, that's the next part of the story
this is the
went
better
to
part of the story,
I
actually.
was like, what is this half of a gun? And you're like, well, it was a cork.
It was a cork.
So we go over there and I was like, well, you did just get a bunch of stuff to make mixed drinks. So we used your automatic wine cork opener to uncork it. So it's like, I think I have a picture on my phone of you sitting there looking at me while you're just like holding the button, just going, and it's trying to take the cork out, but while it's doing it, it pokes straight through it and gets cork all into the Woodford. So you take it out and you're like, now what do I do? And I have another picture of my phone of you pouring the remainder of our Woodford into the coffee maker so that you can filter the cork out of it.
Yep, and I had a pot of Woodford Reserve.
And then you brewed a nice hot cup of Woodford Reserve. Mm-hmm. You put that into a water bottle, and now with the original Woodford cork fit perfectly in the water bottle. So we have a...
It's an Ozarka water bottle, too.
It's
the Ozarka Woodford.
We have an Ozarka, not a sponsor, water bottle that has the remainder of the Woodford, which your girlfriend apparently recently asked, are you going to throw this away? And you were like,
no. I'm not going to lie. There was a piece of me when she said, are you going to keep this? And I was like, yeah.
It's too funny.
It's too funny. So now it's
story.
Back up on my shelf again after I moved.
Piece,
it's an amazing conversation piece. Why the hell is there an Ozarka Woodford bottle? Or sorry, why is there an Ozarka bottle with, I believe, whiskey in there? Let me tell you.
What's that brown stuff in the water bottle? That's Woodford Reserve.
Why you got brown liquor in a plastic bottle?
Because it's just a wild life I live.
I'm not going to lie. I'm never drinking that Woodford.
Why would you? By now, it cannot be good. It went through the coffee maker. It's probably got coffee grounds in it. It's
Dude, that would add like a good coffee bean
Okay, then when we go home, take a sip.
No.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I'll take a sip of that if you take a sip of H. Derringer.
Well, I made a point of the fact that even though I hate it, that I'll still drink it. Like if it's poured, and I keep saying, like you're supposed to cough directly into the mic, bruh. I've already made a point that like I still want to compare it to other things to remember why it's so freaking bad, because like I just want to I want to remember why it's bad. Like I hate it. I do remember hating it, but like I have to. It's
a very misleading bottle. I'm not gonna lie. For people that it's very disappointing because for people that, are getting into whiskey and they're like, oh, I don't really know much about high-end whiskey, but this is like, a decently affordable price. Yeah, because they're like, oh, I want to buy a really nice whiskey. That bottle looks really nice. It's $120. Let me grab that. And it comes with a Flintlock cork, and it comes in a nice box, and the bottle's nice.
It's worth mentioning also, the bottle's pretty cool. It's a cool bottle, even though it's still cheaply made.
All that money went straight into that bottle. Guaranteed.
Even still, I don't think it did because the cork broke and the ribbon's coming off. All that money went straight into the pockets of the rich, those bastards.
I'm pretty sure they had pennies, melted that down, and made a pot, and was distilling this freaking whiskey out of a freaking copper pot made of pennies that have been used since the 1940s.
The problem is copper pot. That's a thing. A copper pot still. That's what Jameson does.
Pennies,
though. Pennies.
Pennies, Ethan.
A penny copper pot.
Melted down with a few nickels in there too.
It tastes like nickels.
I think we left a review on it too. Did we
did.
Not?
Yeah.
You can go find our review on H. Derringer.
I forgot on what website though. We have to find the website, but the reviews were not very high, luckily. But this is like a little known fact, and I know something that I found really amusing watching them drink a bunch of random stuff on those Cold Ones videos. Sponsor or shout out, I should say, is they always will drink like celebrity brand liquors, and the bottles always look nice, and they're like, man, this looks good, and they drink it, and they're always there. They usually talk more shit than we just did about it. They're always like, it tastes so bad. What are you doing?
I was trying to look for the time, but I didn't want to say across the table, what time are we at?
No, okay.
Posted. Take that out, Ian.
Oh, wait, 1 second. I don't think he's going to take it out in post.
Timestamp, I'll take it out.
The problem is, I think it's funnier that we keep telling you to timestamp and take things out. You keep saying you will, but all of them are going to make it in. I think is a funnier podcast.
Actually, what you really need to do is take those and put those at the very end of the podcast as bloopers.
Wait, actually, Ian, take this out. No, I'm joking.
Foreshadowing.
I think the problem is though, like, because he's normally not in the background of the podcast. We're just like milking it as much as we can. Every time we're like, right, and he's like in the middle of like working or some shit, and we're just like, right, Ian. He's like, but like they always mention like these nice bottles always look bad. It's become like a known fact. Like other people I know who drink whiskey are like, yeah. I remember we mentioned to one of the guys at like our like local, the local Total Wine that we were like, yeah, like you guys, we saw that you guys have the H Derringer, and he was like, yeah, it's good for the same reason. And he pointed at a different bottle. He said it's good for the same. He was like, it's good for the same reason that one's good. And I was like, do you mean to say it's not good? And he's like, yeah, for the bottle. People will buy it for the bottle, and it tastes really bad.
Yes, the Yamato. They actually come in. I don't know if you've noticed this. They come in the exact same packaging too. Like the boxes are legitimately the exact same, just different cutouts to fit the different bottles of whiskey. One's a Japanese and one's a bourbon.
Okay, because I was like the one he pointed out had like a samurai covering it.
Yeah, he said it was like a what do you say? It was like a light bar that he was like. I think he said it was like a rave basically, where it's like a bunch of lights and no sound. I'm making a really shitty analogy.
I don't know what you're saying. Ian, cut this out.
Picks up bottle with makers. Man, this is just going to be a running joke from now on.
That's why I said
it. You know what? Ian's not going to be here next podcast. Like we're going to make a podcast in the future. Like, everybody's going to be wondering, who's Ian?
Yeah, the thing is, when we come back from vacation, if Ian's not in the room, I'm just going to keep saying, Ian, crop that out. And I'm going to keep looking at his empty chair.
We'll put a picture of him there, just like giving us a really like disgusting face. Like, how dare you?
A disappointed look on his face just framed right next to me. But yeah.
That'd make my day.
That make my day. I didn't need you to say it like that. I'm not going to tell him to cut that one out. That one's staying in. Oh, man. All right. So last time we did our blind tasting. Back to the topic of the podcast.
Where were we?
Last time we did a blind tasting, we did a blind tasting of a bunch of different Islay Scotch whiskeys. I also threw in
20 minutes ago in conversation.
Yeah,
I'm trying to like timestamp it for myself.
Yeah, no, there's that. I don't even know when this was that we left this part off.
Anyway, sorry. Blind tasting. Isla.
I threw in the
Ardbeg.
I threw in the Johnny Walker Song of Fire as well, just because I hadn't had it in a long time.
Yeah.
By the way, a lot better than I thought.
Dude, it was fire.
We tried.
Did it pick up my knee slap?
I think one second. Okay, I think it picked up that knee slap. Don't do it again. You don't have to keep slapping your knee. So
ironically slaps knees.
We had the Song of Fire, Ardbeg 10, Lafroig 10, and then we had, I think, the Bruichladdich Port Charlotte.
Yeah.
And the Octomore, which I think was the Octomore that I have is 11.1.
Yeah, and I think we agreed. Didn't we agree that the Octomore wasn't as good as we originally thought it was?
I think the lowest rated one we had was like kind of not really surprising. I think it was Lafroig 10. I think Lafroig 10 was the one that, well, we had different scores, I know, but I think for me, even though I was like kind of surprised, like I really liked the Octomore, I was like, it just, the proof kind of, I feel like drowns some of the flavor out as much. Normally I like higher proof. I think it's better, but yeah. I remember, I think the one that I didn't like of that list was the Lafroig 10, which is funny because like I really like it, but comparatively, I guess it just didn't hold up to Ardbeg 10 for me.
Yeah.
And I think the Ardbeg 10 and I think the Port Charlotte 10 were, for different reasons, were up there for my two favorites of that list that we tried. Which I'm really excited that we're going to try more Islay Scotch whiskey on this vacation because there's so much I haven't had yet.
It's like it's a 5-day venture of just
it's the 5-day ultimate Islay Scotch whiskey. That's what, and there was a 4-day one, but you don't go to all of them. And legitimately, the only reason why I picked the 5-day over the 4-day was because on the 5-day, it instead of giving you a list of which ones you visit, it literally just said visit all of the all the Scotch distilleries on the Isle of Islay. Then I was like, oh, all of them, you say? Okay, that's why I picked that one.
Yeah.
So that 5th day is going to be packed full of drinking.
Dude, so actually, I don't want to spoil that for you. Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil it.
He actually looked at the itinerary, and I have it. You can say it. I just don't usually look at itineraries. You can say it.
So I think it's gonna be a good mix. And like the more I really looked into it and actually thought about it, you've been on the Bourbon Trail before, and I haven't. So I don't really know the time it takes, per day to go to certain distilleries, because you guys took like a week and a half to do the entire Bourbon Trail, right?
No, we were in Kentucky for about a week, and we could do. So here's the thing. I guess also should have mentioned this early in the podcast that I have done the Bourbon Trail, but we didn't really plan it in advance. We just went to Kentucky and started going online and figuring out which distilleries we could buy tours for. But it was about an hour for each one, and you could, if you had a designated driver, don't drink and drive. I do not condone that. Then if you had a designated driver, we could do like about 4 in a day, because usually there's like 3 glasses, and the time it took about an hour each one, and so the time it took to go from one to the other, and then how long you were drinking and how long you're doing the tours, you would actually be like, one of the best days was the day we did 4 of them. We had to drive a lot between one of them, and the whole day I got a little bit buzzed, and I just maintained it for like 12 hours because in like kind of early in the morning, we did one distillery tour, and I think it was like the Woodford tour, so it came with like a drink certificate, and Nathan was like, I'm driving, so I'm not even gonna like do that. So I got a drink there. So I had, not only did I have a full drink, but I also had what they let us taste, and then we went to we went somewhere else next, and it was a long drive between one to the next one. And so I was like, I feel like I'm sobering up. We got there, and I was like, not anymore. We did the tasting. So it was actually really nice to just like stay a little bit. You can pour the whiskey.
I didn't.
It's fine. It's not. Now I'm going to silently watch him pour.
Sure you guys literally coughed into the microphone.
At least multiple times we've coughed into the microphone.
I'm like...
He feels called out.
You know what? Next time I cough, I'm legitimately gonna stand up, walk out of the freaking room, and cough, and then walk back in.
That one I might have to actually timestamp for him to edit out. If you actually,
and we're back.
If you actually just stand up and freaking leave the podcast, I might have to edit that one out.
Hey, Ian, edit that one,
please. Yeah, I know you're busy, but at 4626, he just walked out the room, just straight up walked out.
Thank God, he finally told me the time of we're at. I'm over here like sitting.
How long have we been here?
Yeah, I was like mouthing to him like, how long do we?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm just like kind of curious to know where we're at. God, it does not feel like it's been 45 minutes at all.
God. So
sorry.
Normally it takes back on topic. Normally it takes about an hour, because a lot of the tour experiences are an hour. Now again, Scotland could be different, but whenever I was in Kentucky, a lot of them forever. Exactly. A lot of them, like their like basic experience is like a tour of the distillery. It's usually timestamped for an hour. So you go there for like 7 and it's finished at like 8, and there's a tasting at the end. So I mean, I don't know how many we'll be going to every day, but it's usually about an hour, and we're also driving around the Isle a lot.
Yeah, I mean, well, technically, really, if you think about it, we're only going to be doing Isla actually for 3 days, like 3 days on island, because we have the drive there and then the drive back. That's day 1 and day 5, right? So we're really only going to be on Isla for 3 days.
That's a good point, because I think we're doing Oban on day 1 as well.
Yeah, so we're doing Oban on day 1.
Which again, I'm stoked for, because I actually have been wanting to get like a couple of Oban bottles, but I haven't yet. So I'm actually stoked to go there and get to try stuff that I haven't actually even been able to try. I've heard of them, but I've never actually tried much from Oban. So actually, I'm kind of stoked about that.
Well, something that when I was looking at the itinerary, I thought to myself, I'm like, man, 5 days, that's a lot of whiskey just for, it's a lot of whiskey. And so I was like, I really want to know the itinerary is. So looking at it, it seems like we're going to be doing a good bit more than just, whiskey. I think it's going to be a lot of sightseeing.
Yeah.
A lot of sightseeing. That's like the whole marketing shtick on the way there and on the way back. Yeah. It's just sightseeing.
Yeah, it's said in the advertisement that it was like that it's meant to not just, drink the scotch, but like to also hear the history and see the area. And so I'm stoked to see this, but also I would like to see more of Scotland than this. So I'm happy that I get to knock the Isle of Islay out the way, but next time I go there, I'll be doing other shit too.
Yeah, for sure.
I have to do my pilgrimage to Glenlivet Distillery, so we're still not sure if we're going to do it. We looked at how long it takes to do a train from Edinburgh to there.
6 hours.
And we're like, I could do it. It takes that long to drive across the entire state, and I've done it before. Like,
I wonder, That makes me wonder something else real quick. Okay.
You're like, keep going. I'm looking something up.
Just keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
But yeah.
Give it more pizzazz. Come on, just
stop.
Stop.
Just stop. I have enough pizzazz. Thank you. But yeah, I would love to go to Glenlivet eventually. We might do it while we're there, but we'll have to just pick the day that we want to do it. Because I've already mentioned them before.
Okay.
Glenlivet's my favorite distillery.
In my mind.
For Scotch at least.
Mm-hmm. How many days after do we have from the time that the day we get back, day 5, right? We get back day 5. How many days after that before we get on the plane to head back? Because when I was thinking about it, somebody asked me, I'm like counting the days out on my hand, and I'm like, wait, we have 3 full days. Is that right? Do we have 3 full days?
I think it's actually, I like how this has become Whiskey Podcast while we plan our vacation. But no, I think it's actually 2. Because I think the 3rd day we have to. So we're going to do the 5-day Isle of Scotch experience. And then when we come back to Edinburgh, we have 2 days free. And the 3rd day we have to leave for our flight.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Because it's probably going to be a whole day to get back.
Yeah. My plan was to do 3 days. But then because some work things came up, you had to do 2 days instead. But my plan was to have 3 days there because I wanted to set aside time to do both, Isle and all that, and just look around the city as well, which, again, stoked for. But I'm going to have to talk to some people about what else there is to do there. Because I know there's a lot, but, where do we start? So.
Okay, I don't know why I got, on this mindset of wondering, what's the oldest bottle of Glenlivet? I'm sorry, I got, really sidetracked here.
I can guarantee you here's what happened. He unlocked his phone, saw that he recently looked up the Glenlivet 50 year, and he was like, is there something older than that? And just started Googling.
There's a 70.
What?
Oh, yeah, dude.
1 second. I have a Google here. Glenlivet has a 70 year? How much? I'll go halvesies with you.
You won't even buy the 50 year with me. You're gonna go halvesy with me on 75. We're gonna split 35 years together. I'm too not sober.
We're gonna split 35 years together. So I
don't forget what happened the last time we drank too much and talked about buying something.
It was a trip to Scotland.
It was a trip to Scotland.
Last time we drank too much.
Scotland forever.
Okay, that's all right. These are expensive.
They also have a 30 year and a 33 year, apparently. Part of their cellar collection. Didn't even know that.
I have to look them up later and see because I don't know if I've heard of them. But that's
crazy.
I would probably go halvesies on you with the Glenlivet 50. I just know that you won't still.
How much is it?
I think it's $20,000. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen it in person. I think you have. I haven't.
Budgeted in for the next 5 years.
I'll budget. Yeah, I'll put that. I'll actually finance that with my house.
Figure it out. Calculate.
This is not an ASMR podcast.
That's not happening.
He said, tap. No. Oh man. But yeah, I would love it. They're some of my favorite. Which that said, we were talking about new whiskey drinkers, looking at nice bottles, what they would pick, and the expensive ones are a lot misleading sometimes. Yeah. I think that just on that, if someone's trying to get into whiskey and is looking at both a nice bottle and a nice whiskey, I think that Dalmore and Glenfiddich are 2 that have it. Glenfiddich has really great bottlings, and the whiskey inside's also really great.
Well, we've already talked about their brand being their branding is on par.
Yeah, I liked their branding, and then there's a Whiskey Tribe video where one of the guys there mentions how their branding worked, so he knows more about it than I do. But in that video, he talked about it, and that's kind of how I learned a bit. But yeah, their Glenfiddich's branding has been actually very successful for them, and I really like it. I got the Glenfiddich 14 because I'd heard about them, and I was I finished my collection of Glenlivet. What am I going to collect next? Tried the 14. The Glenfiddich 14 was I think I'm collecting this brand next because the 14's so good.
The 14's not the youngest, is it?
They have a 12.
They have a 12?
I just haven't got the 12 yet. I think the 12's $60 around here somewhere. I just haven't gotten it yet.
I wanted to ask, because we talked about H. Derringer already, and we're kind of talking about, marketing and branding. There's some, higher end whiskey, quote unquote, that's really good. What are some mainstay whiskeys that you would say they're high end whiskeys that aren't really worth the money? If you in your opinion, not because I know, as we've said, and as you kind of taught me, because I kind of think of you as a whiskey mentor.
Yeah, I should also, I think I should say this as well. We've kind of both mentioned this. People will say like connoisseur or something. I think I mentioned in the last episode. Like I prefer to just call myself a whiskey collector because I'm by no means an expert. I'm an enthusiast. This is a hobby of mine. But like, I think that all whiskey is good, and if you like something, especially if you buy the bottle, like they also mentioned this at the Old Forester Distillery. Like once you buy the bottle, you drink this. You paid for it. It's yours. You drink it however you want. If you think it's better mixed with Coke, I don't do that. But if you want to do that, it's your bottle. And so that's the way I look at it. Is I love whiskey and I love it the way it is. I think the best way to enjoy it is neat to get all the flavors. But if you like it on the rocks or mixed with something, then like good for you.
Yeah, what was the exact statement you said?
Well, so that's actually a statement. I don't want to take credit for that. That's from the Whiskey Tribe. The Whiskey Tribe on YouTube, their statement is the best whiskey is the one you like to drink the way you like to drink it. That's their catchphrase. And I love that phrase too, and I use that, but I wasn't going to say that's mine on the podcast because it's not my phrase.
Gotcha.
But Whiskey Tribe and Whiskey Vault on YouTube, that's their phrase.
Yeah, by the way, I wasn't insinuating that was something that you said is yours.
Yeah,
that's like
now that I said it, I want to make sure that I put them in there and cited that because that is their thing, and I do agree with it. The best
cited, not copyrighted.
Cited, not copyrighted. You gotta throw up like that was like a rap.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that is a good phrase. The best whiskey is the one you like to drink, the way you like to drink it. So if you like it on the rocks or mixed with something, then go for it. And if you like makers and I don't, then that's still good. It's the best whiskey to you. So, and I always mention this a lot is like people will ask me like, oh, you're a whiskey collector. Like what's some of your what's some of your favorites, your go-tos? And I'm like, man, I really love going for Jameson. Like legitimately Jameson and makers, things that are easy to find and affordable are my like top. And the reason why they're my top is because I can find them at just about any bar on any flight, you know, now if I go home, what am I going to drink? Probably a scotch that I don't find at bars. But like, that's because it's at my home with my collection, you know. I'm probably going to drink my like Glenlivet or Glenfiddich or some of these other ones that I have like, of a Brooklighted Classic Lottie or something. What are you doing? He's trying to figure out if that's picking up on the mic as well.
I was I'm sorry. I was like, hold on, wait.
He was playing with the wire and he's trying to figure out if it was picking up on the mic. I don't think it was well, but if it is, we'll edit it out in post. I'm joking.
Stop that.
But yeah, or like the Brooklighted Classic Lottie or something like that, or like even more like Ardbeg Tin. Like that's something that I'm not going to find on a plane or at a bar. Actually, I found that at a couple of bars.
But I think me and you had this conversation recently of talking about, you know, because for me personally, I had Barrel. I loved Barrel.
Yeah, and Barrel it's really good.
And I moved to I kind of found myself bouncing around between different whiskeys that I liked and was like my mainstay. But I think I kind of landed on Makers, which I found very funny for myself because I thought, I'm gonna find this exotic whiskey that most people haven't heard of, or it's one that's at that supermarket that nobody ever buys. That like, oh yeah, I'm trying to think of just a random whiskey. I like Lockley. Lockley's my favorite whiskey.
In a way, though, like the brand, like Barrel Bourbon and Barrel Whiskey, I think it's Barrel Craft Spirits. I think is the name of the brand. But still, in a way, that is something that is like among whiskey drinkers. That's not like like everyone knows that. But like people who like don't really drink whiskey, that is a bit off the wall, right? That's something other than Buffalo Trace or.
But I was surprised that it was Makers. I was surprised that like my favorite whiskey. My favorite whiskey, my go-to whiskey at my house, because I was like, man, it's a cheap whiskey that tastes freaking outstanding. I can drink it very easily. I can pick out a bunch of flavors from it. I mean, I say a bunch of flavors. I can pick out like staple flavors and the flavors that I really like, which I think Makers has a great orange taste to it. Makers number 46 has like that oaky orange flavor that we talked about. But having the ability to take something that I really like that kind of reminded me of another drink that I really like. But in whiskey form, of course, I could take that and I can drink it daily. And I found that very weird for myself because I thought, obviously I was going to find something crazy.
Something fancy,
yeah, something fancy. But we were talking, like, as I was saying earlier, some of the whiskeys that, were just kind of not misleading, but something that's like really like priced high that most people would say, oh yeah, that's a really fancy and nice whiskey. Because I think we've talked about it. Stuff has what we call either Macallan or Blue Label syndrome.
Yeah. So I've mentioned like Johnny Walker Blue Label like syndrome as a thing where I think that Johnny Walker Blue Label is good, all things considered, But I actually like Johnny Walker Black Label and Green Label more.
Yeah.
Because they have more full-bodied flavor, and the Blue Label is only good because of how easy it is to drink. I don't think it has a nice flavor, and for how much I spent on it, I didn't think it was worth it.
I mean, you did like a blind tasting between Black Label and Blue Label, right? And said that you can't the taste or like the exact same. One's just smoother.
One's just easier to drink.
Yeah.
So you can tell. I remember me and Nathan did it. You can tell, but you can't really tell. And so the thing with that was, I realized that what you're paying for, it's kind of like Apple products. Like, you're paying for the name. Like, a lot of times you're not getting a good product. You're paying for that because it's like an Apple brand product.
Yeah.
Or same with Johnny Walker Blue Label. Like, you're paying for Blue Label. You're not paying for the whiskey inside the bottle. It's kind of the bottle you're paying for. And I don't know if it can say that's it for Macallan, but in my opinion, having tried a good amount of Macallan, every time I'm like, as good as it is, I think it's really overpriced.
Yeah, I've tried 2 Macallans. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I've like Macallan's good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's bad, but I've had 2 different bottles of Macallan. I don't own them, but I think I've gotten pours of Macallan.
Yeah,
and tasting them, I'm like, man, this is nice, but it's not $22 a pour nice.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I've had the Macallan 12, 18, and then like the rare one that we had whenever we went to get that at the restaurant. Yeah, and then I had one more whenever I was in New Jersey, but I forgot what that one was. It was another like higher end one. Yes, the lights are dimming. It was another higher end one, but it wasn't like.
Who is that?
That was, we have the lights that automatically dim. You just
okay. I'm sorry.
We're talking about whiskey, and he's like, "Wow, the lights are dimming."
Hey, bro, I'm born in the sticks. I'm not used to this. Everything's blinking and lights and.
Oh man, but yeah. I personally, as much as I enjoy Macallan, I wouldn't. Now Ian is changing the lights to try and give Cade a
Little
seizure.
does he know I have epilepsy.
Yeah,
not really. I don't.
But yeah, he.
Oh my God, they're blinking.
The color's not changing. Is that the corner lamp that's supposed to be changing? Oh, it's that one. That's that.
Oh,
corner
dude,
lamp.
that's really sick.
Yeah.
Can you make it rainbow? Does it like do rainbow?
Rainbow Coopers?
Rainbow Coopers.
Dude, Rainbow Coopers is my favorite. But yeah, I especially like Macallan, I think it's always kind of overpriced.
Yeah.
And so, but again, a lot of people, they pay because they want, and I'm probably going to do it soon too. Like, I want a bottle of Macallan, and I do like Macallan. I don't think I like other things more that I would pay less for.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to have a bottle of Macallan 12 in the house.
It makes me wonder, the main reason why I like to personally buy, like I have a barrel collection, right? I have multiple barrels. They're usually like between $80 and $100 roughly.
He has a couple of the private selections. You have the Seagrass. No, I have the Seagrass, but we split it.
Yeah.
And then you have Barrel Bourbon, right?
I have Barrel
Dovetail.
Bourbon New York. I have Dovetail, Vantage,
Seagrass Silver.
Seagrass Silver. What's that other one? What's the one that's not Vantage? It's
Armada.
Yes,
Yeah.
Armada. I have
So you've got-
Armada,
yeah,
and I have 2 private selects that both came from Martin's Wine Cellar.
Yeah.
By the way, you need to retry the Oloroso cask.
The Sherry one? Yeah.
because it was.
Really?
I tried it.
When
I tried it the
we
other
get
night
home,
in
I'll
an
try it
old-fashioned.
again.
I tried it in an old fashioned. I was like,
It's been a while since I had an old
It
fashioned.
doesn't taste the same, dude.
Oh, really?
Yes, it does not taste the same. I was like,
Hampter.
Hampter. Ex-Hampter.
Yeah, I'll try it again, but now I thought you were saying it's good. Now I'm concerned. Also,
Same. That's why I was like, man, I remember really liking this in an old fashioned. I'm thinking that there's a piece of me that like maybe my taste buds are changing. Like I said with the Derringer earlier, the Rabbit Hole Derringer that I kind of tasted that rum cask in. I think that for some reason, I think my taste buds might be changing with some certain whiskeys after drinking them again.
yeah. Well, I think, and this is another reason why, even though I say that the Derringer's bad, is the aged Derringer's bad. I keep retrying it is because as much as I don't like something.
Oh no, not that one. The Rabbit Hole.
I know, but I was just saying, taste buds change over time.
Yeah.
But not only did taste buds change, but I think that your perceptions will change too, because what happens is when you don't drink something for a while and you drink something else, your kind of palate gets used to that, and so when you go to something else, then it's like a kind of a different like nuke in your mind, So like you don't have to be overly cautious. You can just put the bottle down.
Okay, fam.
I just like watching him very slowly do things. You don't have
this in the background right doesn't sound right. This.
I'm just stop. Put the bottle down.
Sounds fine. Okay. ASMR is close to the mic. Loud sounds are not okay. Edit that one out.
He's not gonna edit that out.
No, he's not. That's great.
The plaps of him slapping the bottle are staying in. I'm just saying,
quality content.
It's funny to watch him like very slowly put the bottle down after coughing directly into the microphone. As I was saying,
what were we talking about?
What's that?
I'm not gonna let you live that down.
Yeah, well, those noises.
Slapping the bottle, or
he's gonna crop the slapping.
Crap it?
Yeah, he's gonna crop the bottle slapping noises, and he's gonna just send them to you. That's your new text tone.
Oh my god, put that in Discord. I'm gonna hop in the call, and then all you guys are just gonna be spamming that
yeah,
one.
It's the new duck. Stop! Put the bottle down. Stop doing that.
Okay, sorry.
It's like the new duck where you quack, 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 quack. But yeah, I think it's important to retry other things because, for instance, you've been like on like a Maker's kick. You're just like, it's cheap, it's easy to find, and I actually really like it. I've been drinking Maker's a lot lately. And then whenever we poured the 3 private selects that you got, what was it called? It's like the anniversary edition or whatever.
It's their Generations. I think it's called the Generations.
I think it said the Lost Chapter is what it was called as well. The Generations.
Which
last
one?
chapter.
The
whole wooden thing.
That it was the Maker's Generation private selects.
Yeah. And we tried all 3 of those, and I remember after the last one, you were like, I think this one is the best of the 3. I like it, and I was like, cool. I'm gonna pour something. Do you want to finish it? And you were like, no, I think I want something other than bourbon. And I was like, it finally happened, right? After a while, you're like, I want to change things up.
Yeah.
So now you're going to go back to a different thing like a rye, and the experience will be totally different because you've just been drinking bourbon lately, and you're like, wow, I really want something different.
Well, it's funny because like even though we just bought the RD1, right? And we were like, man, this tastes like freaking
it's so good. Yeah,
pie
it's so
or like
good.
apple
It's
fritters.
really sweet, but it's the RD1. If it's what's it called? The casket's finished in?
Brazilian Amburana.
Yeah, RD1 rye finished in Brazilian Amber, and I think it's really good. It's really sweet, but I think it's really good.
If I was to do the blind taste, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely probably would be in top 3 for sure, if not number 2.
It's pretty high on rye for me as well. Yeah. It's it has like in my opinion, it reminds me of those like McDonald's apple pies.
Yeah,
it reminds me of those. I think it's really good.
It reminds me of like the if you've ever been to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and Pigeon Forge, they have the Dixie Stampede. Right, that's a Dolly Parton. Okay, never mind. I'm speaking to myself.
That was a whole lot of words you said, and I was like, I don't think any of those words landed for me.
Pigeon Forge. In Tennessee, Dolly Parton has their Dixie Stampede. They do like this whole, horse show, North against the South. You eat with your fingers. It's very Southern type thing. Anyways, long story short, they have
it's like a big state fair.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I know it's funny, but hearing him trying to explain it more after doing Pigeon Forge was making me laugh.
They serve you apple fritters, and that's like, like immediately I snap to the apple fritters.
That whole story could have been cropped down to apple fritters. Who has the dog?
Apple fritters.
Apple fritters.
No, but my uncle, in fact, because my uncle drinks whiskey, right? We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny, actually, more of your family drinks whiskey than mine does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also,
you have 4 uncles. You have more of like a, I guess, Southern family than mine sort of is. But still, it's really funny that like I got you like. An outside person who was just a friend of yours is the one who kind of got you back into whiskey, not your family that drinks.
Well, it's also because we've already talked about like the tiers of collecting that they do.
Yeah, they're more like they're bourbon guys. Yeah, which a lot of people in the South and in America in general are like bourbon guys.
Yeah.
So to answer, I guess, an old question that I forgot now that I'm thinking about it, you mentioned like what some of the quintessential whiskeys or whatever, they're like overrated.
Yeah.
I really think a lot of those bourbon guy bourbons aren't that good. Legitimately, I think that Maker's is, in my opinion, better than some of those options. I do still like Blanton's, and I do still think Eagle Rare and what's it called?
Weller?
No, Weller's actually pretty solid.
Weller's pretty good. I think,
but it was
it's
E.H. Taylor. That was it. I kept thinking of H. Derringer. That's why the H had me throw up. But E.H. Taylor. I actually got an E.H. Taylor bourbon and didn't like it. I got one of their like, I forgot which one it was. But it was something people have been looking for.
It was their small batch.
I think it was a small batch, yeah. And I just didn't really like it. And I was like, I would drink Maker's or Buffalo Trace or even the Bird Dog 7-year that I got.
You opened it and then found a buyer like
immediately. And
immediately.
And I was like I didn't want to rip the guy off because it was already open. If you're buying a bottle, you want it to be sealed. And I was like, I didn't want to rip the guy off because it's like, how much do you want to pay for it? It's already open. And I don't want to charge you something out the ass. It just feels wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like, I didn't really like E.H. Taylor.
And I don't understand because
Now, Blanton's, I will admit, Blanton's is pretty solid.
I don't like Blanton's.
Really?
Dude. Yeah,
I think they're pretty
price,
solid.
For the price, definitely. I don't like Blanton's. Jim poured me, which is my uncle. Jim poured me.
We have to have Jim on now, don't we?
Yeah. Oh my God, dude, you would think the conversation you would have.
He'd probably say so much shit and be like, "That's going to be censored," and I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, he would. He'd be like, "Are we gonna edit that one out? Can I say that?"
No, I can definitely hear Jim saying, "Can I say that?"
Like, damn, these headphones don't fit right.
Local man says his uncle has big head. Keep going. I'm sending that one to Jim.
No, he poured me some Blanton's Gold, right? And
keep going.
Anyways, in Blanton's Gold, and I was like, man, he was like, man, what do you think of that? Like, it's really good, isn't it? And I'm like, and I feel bad for telling him, I don't really like it that much. I'm not the biggest fan. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like Blanton's that much.
That's kind of like callback to your Whistle Pig Rye, right? Like your Whistle Pig Boss Hog 10.
Yeah.
I remember drinking it whenever you opened it, and I was like, yeah, this is really good. But weirdly, I think I might like the Whistle Pig 12-year more.
I love it better.
And I was like,
way better.
It's really good. And I think it's nice and easy to drink. I kind of like the flavor, but I'm sitting here like, I think I might like the Whistle Pig 12 more. And even if it is better than the 12, is it the price difference better than the 12? And that was kind of the issue for me. Is like, as much as I liked it, I don't know if it was worth how hard it is to find how expensive it was.
Yeah, no, I definitely, to be honest, I would not buy, if I ran out of that bottle, like tomorrow, I would never buy that bottle again. Mm-hmm. And it's not like it's bad, like you said. Mm-hmm. It's just, for the price, I could buy so many more bottles.
And it's not just that. Also, it's like, now that you have the bottle, and this is my opinion of my Glenlivet 25-year. I do still want a sample room 25-year to finish my collection, but would I try and buy another of this heritage style 25?
Yeah.
No. I really like it. I would keep the bottle. But realistically, now, kind of the finished appearance of the collection for me is the fact that I have owned and have paid for that and had it and drank it. The liquid in the bottle isn't really important anymore.
Right. It's just the bottle itself, which means you don't need the box, which means you should definitely sell it to me.
You've been trying to buy the box for so long. But like whereas the Glenlivet 12 and 14, like I'm going to buy a new bottles when they run out because I also want there to be liquid in that bottle, and even though it's expensive, sometimes like I really like it, so I want it to be full.
Now, I don't know if I've asked you this question. Do you think the Nadura and the Enigma might be one of the better Glenlivets out of your entire Glenlivet collection?
I don't think I've actually placed them anywhere with the age statement Glenlivets. I need to place them like in my ranking of where I like them. The Nadura probably wouldn't rank much higher. Like, it would probably rank around the 18. I really like it, but it would probably rank around the 18 where I think it's better than the 14 and 15, maybe. But the Enigma's close. The Enigma might be better than the 18 for me. I don't know if it's better than the 21. I like the Glenlivet Enigma, though. It's really good.
I mean, I
also like that it's barrel proof, so it has a sort of intensity that most of the Glenlivets don't have.
Yeah.
It has an intensity and the flavor.
I think after trying the Nadura again, right? I don't know if I really. I think I might like it better than the 18 or the 21. Mm-hmm. However, I have not had the 18
in a long time. In a while.
Yeah, because you refuse to pour it.
The reason why is because it's getting low, and
bastard.
You can't say that.
Hey, you said as long as the bottle's up there, that's all that matters.
You're right. But the thing with the 18 is I want a new bottle. Unless you're helping me get a new bottle,
nah.
So it's like the new bottle is going up in price for some reason. The economy is in shambles.
You should buy it now, finish off the 18 you have, and be done with it.
Legitimately, when we get home, I'll pour some 18. But you're like, I did it. I convinced him on air. What he's learned now.
Glenlivet 18, dude?
Hell yeah, dude. What he's learned is that he can strong arm me. He can.
What H. Derringer did?
Hell no, dude. This has evolved quickly. Cade has learned he can strong arm me on the podcast to pour expensive bottles, being like, "Oh, people are listening, Ethan. You have to let me have this whiskey."
Yeah, right. I'm gonna come back on the podcast. We got off and he denied me. He poured it for himself.
Yeah.
Selfish bastard.
You told me you had work tomorrow. I looked up Blanton's Gold. Yeah, it exists. I didn't really know it.
Yeah, well, they have like 3 or 4 different types of Blantons, and I did not know
I can never get any of them because they're always sold out at the places that have them.
Dude, the freaking, I stopped at sorry, I know, like, freaking's like the new freaking word, dude. Anyways, I stopped at the gas station, like, right by our house, saw that they had a bottle of Weller and a bottle of Eagle Rare. And they
highway robbery, dude.
Highway freaking robbery. They were so freaking expensive. Freaking expensive. Sorry, okay, I'm gonna stop. They were so expensive, bro.
He's had too much to drink. I let him drink too much. I'm driving.
I had 2, I think, glasses. Anyways, the
full to the brim. No, I'm joking.
That Eagle Rare was. I think charging, I said between 100 and 130, which is
he
just
said ridiculous. He told me it was $130 for a bottle that's like. Let me look it up. How much is Eagle Rare normally? I have so many tabs open.
3540, guarantee.
I thought it was, but I want to make sure. I have so many tabs open on Ian's laptop now. Eagle Rare.
I'll put my cigar malt on that.
All right. I want that cigar malt. So
on the gang though.
On the gang though, for real.
No cap.
Kill my shit.
On the gang, kill my shit. It looks like Eagle Rare 10 is $80 here, $90 there. All of these. Fun fact: if you look up Eagle Rare, it comes in these like bundle packs of the other hard to find, or like all the ones I was talking about, right? So it comes in these bundle packs with Weller, Blanton's, E.H. Taylor.
Is it a part of the Buffalo Trace distillery?
I am not 100% sure. I can't really say. I think it's $80 though. I think it looks like Eagle Rare on its own. Their like normal one is like $80. Well, no, this one says $40. I don't know.
Oak Point sells it for $35.40.
Okay, and that nice. But yeah, by
the way, Oak Point's our local.
There's like
It's our local grocery mart that we usually go to that has like.
It's one of the many
whiskey.
Yeah, there's one of the many because I honestly think that them making like them having a Total Wine around here was also really helpful. Yeah. The Total Wine has a good selection. And I like it because they're all different selections, like somewhat. I can go to some places and I'll find stuff that I can't find other places.
Yeah. Back to the RD1 though, like I was saying. Anyways, so I poured RD1 for Jim and my dad, and I was very, very surprised to find that they were getting notes.
Some of the notes that we were. Yeah. To be fair, I think it is a bit straightforward with that one. I don't think that there's many things you're going to get apart from apple fritter or like the apple pie. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
That's a step in a direction though, because normally they're like, "Yeah, this whiskey's good."
Yeah.
Well, what does it taste like?
Yeah. Or they'll say it's
good.
Yeah. They'll say it's smooth or something like that. And it's like I'm not saying that you can't use the word smooth, but I don't think that it's
strong.
Yeah. I don't think that it's a good descriptor though, I'm okay with it being smooth, but whenever I'm asking, and I even do this to you sometimes where you'll be like, this is what it tastes like. I'm like, I want you to try and do something. And you're pretty good at it too. Because for me, like it always tastes like something, but for you, you'll have like, this reminds me of, and I really like that.
Yeah, kind of like your Ardbeg 10. I was like, oh yeah, that like reminds me of a sea breeze.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit,
that's what the bottle says that.
The bottle. Yeah. So and I do like that because there's an aspect of whiskey that isn't flavor. It's like a feeling, when you'll take a sip of a whiskey and it'll just kind of invoke a feeling. And I think that a lot of people, when they're trying to get into whiskey, the proof is what's in the way. Like high proof whiskey, they're not used to drinking it neat. It's hot because they're used to drinking drinks with ice in them, so it's hotter because it's neat. But like when you get past that proof and when you just kind of just barely get past the proof, you almost immediately start finding flavors and differences and favorites and what the best is. And it just takes getting just a toe past the proof, and then you start getting wow, this reminds me of whenever I was a kid and this was happening. Wow, man, I like this a lot just because of that memory,
I was thinking why you never...
a nice candle, a nice candle that reminds you of your childhood or something.
I was thinking why you never opened up with, like, for people that have never tried whiskey or, I'll try this whiskey to see if you like whiskey in general. Mm-hmm. I always wondered why you never started with Tullamore Dew 12. And I really got it after I drank it myself. And then I after drinking whiskey for months, right, and me having my own collection, I'm like really like concentrating, thinking, what's the flavor here? What's the flavor here? And like the only thing I could taste was just whiskey. Yeah. Like Tullamore Dew 12, funny enough,
really like it. I think it has to me it has flavors, but it's a very vibe, like what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very subtle vibe. It's kind of a suppressed flavor. So for people who haven't drank it before, it's not even that expensive. You can try like $40-something.
But it just probably tastes just like straight alcohol to them.
But you're right, but like I think it's good, but yes, I think that the gentleness of the flavor, it's going to just taste like alcohol because it doesn't burn for me, but I haven't drank whiskey for a long time. Yeah. And so, for people, and that's why I always pick Ardbeg 10. I've said this before, is like whenever someone's coming into my house, I always tell them, you're probably not going to like this, but I want you to try this. And the reason why is because I have almost never gotten someone to drink Ardbeg 10, take a sip of it, and tell me, man, that burns. Or man, that reminds me of like my dad would always say, like he would say like bourbon, it's like that tastes like paint thinner because he's getting the, like the ethyl out, like ethanol. And so he's like, he's getting all that, like, and he's not getting the flavor. No one says that about Ardbeg 10. The flavor, or if they do say ethanol, then they're like, man, that tastes like rubbing alcohol. You know, they're telling me it tastes like something. And that's where I can immediately prove to them whiskey has a flavor itself. And I can also tell them, it's not burning, is it? Because Ardbeg 10's 40%. It's like not, the proof is really not there. The flavor is what's strong.
And the flavor does kind of taste like a burn, though.
Yeah, no, it does.
For people that don't really drink whiskey.
No, you're right. But at the same time, it's like it is its own thing. And that's why I pour it so much for people who haven't drank whiskey, is because it's like, now that you are comfortable telling me that you didn't like that, even though I poured you something of mine, because it's my favorite, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Now that you're comfortable with that, and you've also tasted something the proof wasn't the problem for, that was just the flavor.
It was just your weak taste buds.
Yeah, exactly. It was just because you're a little bitch, and that's fine. But no,
not really.
And I've actually had a few people, surprisingly, that have taken a sip of it and been like, that's actually not that bad. I actually kind of like it. You told me that I wouldn't like it. And I was like, a lot of people don't, but I like it. And if you like that, then I can, if they are even just interested in Ardbeg 10, then I try and find them other flavors that are kind of challenging, that are different, because now that opens up the shelf a lot. If they don't like it, then I'm going to go to, Angel's Envy or something that has a nice flavor, that's kind of smooth, and it's not very challenging. And that's usually, Angel's Envy is one of my go-tos. I've had a lot of people that drink that first as a bourbon, and they almost always they like it.
When you just said Angel's Envy, the first thing I thought of was taking me back all the way to you at Old London Town and me drinking the Madeira cask, and it makes me really want the Madeira cask. If I can get you to open that, I can get you to open the Madeira cask.
I have 2 bottles of the Angel's Envy's limited release Madeira cask that I'm saving. One for myself because I really liked it, and one to try and resell because I've been offered a good amount of money for it. And he wants me to open one of my bottles. Actually, I think I've offered to sell one of those bottles to you.
You actually, we have a deal for the Is it the Madeira cask? It is the Madeira cask.
It probably doesn't remember the deal.
No. It is the Madeira cask, and I remember exactly what the deal was. I bought the freaking the Alexander Murray 25-year from you, and the deal was that you would take $100 off of the.
I remember because I got the 25. I got the Alexander Murray 25 for my 25th birthday, and I drank it. And my Glenlivet 25 and your Grange Stone 25. We drank a bunch of 25-year-old whiskey for my 25th birthday. It was really good. It was a fun, shortly after my 25th birthday, because I was very sick for my 25th birthday. But still, I drank all of those like in celebration of that. And I thought it was a really cool experience. But I didn't necessarily want to keep the bottle, so I sold it back to you, because you have a collection of Alexander Murray's bottlings.
Yep, and then you went ahead and bought the
35.
The 35 and the 39-year bottles from freaking Total Wine.
Total Wine, yeah. I did, and we've tried the 35-year, and I did like it. It still has some of the same, I guess, curses that most blends do, which is that like a lot of these single malts.
But it's only blended with 2.
It is, but there's just something about it. I don't know.
Is that Invergordon 39, bro?
35.
Is that 35? Invergordon 35? I thought the other one was the 35-year whiskey, and that's why they had to make it a 35.
I don't know.
Either way, it's at least a 35-year Invergordon, which is freaking. If you haven't had Invergordon yet, because I don't think you have, it is. I love the Invergordon. It's amazing.
I really, I haven't opened the 39 yet. I'm thinking about like when I would do it, I don't know yet. But there's a few bottles that I haven't opened yet, even though my policy is whiskey's made to be drank, and I'm going to drink it. But there's a few that I'm just like, when am I going to open this,
Yeah.
And that's one of them. I got the 39 so that I would have it. And it was basically one of the reasons I got it was the last expensive bottle I'm going to get for a while. And I'm going to be trying to buy cheaper stuff to.
How many unopened bottles do you have currently?
I have the Brooklotti Black Art that I'm not opening right now.
Yeah. I
have my Angel's Envy Madeira cask and the 39-year, at least. Those are the ones that are unopened that I have.
The Redbreast 12 is open?
Yes.
You have an Angel's Envy that's not opened?
Well, yeah, it's just the finished rye that Ian got me for Christmas.
Yeah. And then obviously the 2 Madeira casks.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess if we're counting both Madeira casks...
We're not going to count both. We'll count one.
So, yeah, I have those.
Those 5.
Those are the only... It's like 3. It's Brooklotti Black Art. Yeah, Angel's Envy Madeira cask, and then the 39-year. Those are the only 3 that I have that are not open that I won't open. I mean, I have the finished rye, but we have an open bottle. That's why I haven't opened yet.
Technically... Okay,
there's only 3 bottles that I don't have opened and won't open for just no reason.
Yeah.
But generally, I like to open all of them, and now my Glenlivet 25 is open as well. So, and the Redbreast 12, I only wouldn't open that one because I finished a bottle too quickly. So I was like, I have to make sure I don't open it. But that is actually about time. We've been going for a while. We'll have to do this again, but luckily we will be doing this again after vacation. We'll probably be talking about Isla for a good portion of that podcast and then get distracted and talk about just favorite whiskeys. I would like to next time talk more about our experience, like bring your notebooks that we have and kind of talk more about our experiences with blind tastings and kind of delve into more of the tasting notes that we get.
It makes me want to kind of do like a blind tasting, like give like a, a week in advance maybe to tell somebody. You're like, hey, we're going to be trying these makers.
Yeah, I think another option is we could do like a blind tasting episode where we just do it on air. I would probably just get someone to drive us home though, because we'd both be drinking a good amount.
Of course, yeah, we definitely not. So we shouldn't sober.
Drive, yeah. But or at least even if we're sober, we still shouldn't drive after drinking that much. That's the point. Yeah. But yeah, so we should do that, and I think next episode we'll kind of talk more about the vacation experience and the tastings we had there and the notes that we both got from that, and then we can also talk about our tasting notes because I think it would be nice to have. Kind of talk about the actual notes we're getting a bit more. That way people who maybe are trying to get into whiskey can think of some of the flavors that we're getting, because it's not uncommon for me and Cade to disagree on flavors that we're finding. And that's totally normal, so you might get something that he gets that I don't. And it's actually nice. We'll drink next to each other and we'll both get different things from the same glass. I think that's really cool. One of my favorite things.
Normally I'll get like a sunset and you'll get orange.
Yeah, I'll be like, man, this tastes like orange zest. And you're like, this tastes like back when my grandpappy used to.
Used to sharpen his knife on the back porch.
On the back porch. I can hear the dogs barking in the background. So this reminds me of
I sympathize with that, Pappy.
The problem is, having been in the military, he can say that.
Yeah, I've legitimately been in a combat zone. This tastes like the war.
Oh man! But so until next time, luckily we actually have like a somewhat guaranteed next episode because I'm not very consistent posting and everyone knows that. We'll be back, but until next time, thank you all for listening to the Bout Nothin Podcast. Bye. Okay, I was like, you're supposed to say goodbye.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, but like it didn't
really pick up.
Okay, bye.
Ian, edit that out and post.
Please leave that in. Okay, actually, bye.
No, I left enough space and silence that he can actually. It's still recording. I should probably stop it.
Okay, yeah, stop that.
Stop recording.